Valorian delegation materialized on the bridge of the Celestial Mandate, their forms shimmering with the characteristic blue-white glow of quantum teleportation. Commander Maya stood at attention, her dark eyes fixed on the three alien dignitaries who now occupied her ship's pristine deck. The lead Valorian, whose designation translated roughly to High Assessor Thren, extended what passed for a greeting among his kind, a brief pulse of bioluminescent patterns across his crystalline exoskeleton. Primitive, Thren announced in flawless English, his vocalization organs producing the sound with mechanical precision. Your vessel operates on chemical propulsion, fusion drives. How? Quaint. Maya's jaw tightened, but her expression remained neutral. Beside her, Lieutenant William Chen shifted his weight almost imperceptibly, a tell she'd learned to recognize over their 3 years serving together. William was angry, but like her, he knew this meeting was too important for wounded pride. Our technology serves its purpose, High Assessor, Maya replied evenly. We've reached the outer colonies, established viable trade routes. In decades, what takes us hours, Thren interrupted, his translator device somehow managing to convey condescension. Your species still relies on Newtonian physics for navigation. Your weapon systems use explosive projectiles, kinetic energy. The alien's body rippled with what Maya had come to recognize as their equivalent of laughter. You hurl metal through space like your ancestors hurled rocks at predators. The other 2 Valorians joined in the display, their bodies pulsing in synchronized mockery. William's hand drifted toward the sidearm at his hip, a purely instinctive gesture that he immediately corrected. Maya placed a subtle hand on his shoulder. We are what we are, she said calmly. Earth has applied for membership in the Galactic Cooperative. We've submitted our technological assessments, our cultural profiles, our resource catalogs. We've come in good faith. Good faith, Thren echoed, moving closer to the main view screen where Earth hung in the distance, a blue marble against the cosmic dark. Your planet is a curiosity, Commander Maya, a species that stumbled into faster-than-light travel through sheer stubborn experimentation rather than mathematical elegance. You discovered the slipstream by accident, not design. And yet we discovered it, William interjected, unable to contain himself any longer. We're here, aren't we? Doesn't that count for something? Thren's attention shifted to the young lieutenant. Enthusiasm, how refreshingly primitive. The alien's crystalline fingers traced patterns in the air, and a holographic display materialized between them. This is Valorian defensive technology, quantum-locked energy barriers that exist in superposition across 17 dimensions. Your projectile weapons, your railguns and missiles, would simply pass through different probability states, never achieving coherent impact. Maya studied the display with professional interest, committing every detail to memory. Impressive, but theoretical defense systems don't mean much until they're tested under real conditions. You wish to test them. Thren's bioluminescence shifted to what might have been amusement, perhaps a demonstration. Your ship's weapons against our shields. I promise you, Commander, the Celestial Mandate's most powerful armaments will prove inadequate. William leaned in close to Maya. Captain, this is a setup. They want to humiliate us publicly, probably broadcast it across the cooperative. Look at the primitive humans still playing with gunpowder. Maya considered this. William was probably right. But she was also thinking about the schematics Thren had just displayed, about the elegant complexity of 17-dimensional mathematics, about quantum superposition. And she was thinking about something humanity had learned the hard way over centuries of warfare. Sometimes the most sophisticated system had the simplest weakness. I accept your demonstration, she announced. Thren's body flared with what was unmistakably surprise. Truly, you understand this will be recorded, transmitted to the Cooperative Council. I understand perfectly. Maya turned to William. Lieutenant Chen, please escort our guests to the observation deck, then report to Gunnery Station 3. William's eyes widened fractionally, but he knew better than to question orders in front of aliens. "Aye, Captain." The Valorian scout ship Infinite Probability hung in space exactly 1,000 kilometers from the celestial mandate. Thren and his companions stood in the observation deck, their forms reflecting the starlight as they prepared to witness humanity's humiliation. On the bridge, Maya had assembled her senior staff. "The Valorians are confident," she told them. "Overconfident. They've shown us their shield technology, 17-dimensional quantum barriers, sophisticated beyond anything we currently understand." "So how do we beat it?" asked Commander Rodriguez, her chief engineer. Maya pulled up the schematics Thren had displayed. "By not understanding it. Look here. The barriers exist in superposition, shifting through probability states. They're designed to counter advanced energy weapons, plasma lances, graviton beams, things that operate on quantum principles. They expect their enemy to be sophisticated." William, now stationed at gunnery control, began to smile. "But we're not sophisticated." "Exactly." Maya highlighted a section of the shield mathematics. "These barriers phase through dimensions to avoid coherent matter. But that phasing requires massive computational power, quantum processors running calculations across all 17-dimensional states simultaneously. It's designed to track and evade complex targeting systems, adaptive AI, quantum-locked weapons." Rodriguez leaned forward, studying the data. "But a dumb projectile doesn't need to be tracked across 17 dimensions," Maya finished. "It exists in exactly one state, one position, one velocity vector. It's so simple the system might not even recognize it as a threat until impact." "That's brilliant," William breathed. "We're going to shoot them with a bullet." "Not just any bullet," Maya corrected. "Load the Mark 7 depleted uranium penetrators. Muzzle velocity, 7,000 meters per second. No guidance system, no quantum signature, no dimensional variance, pure Newtonian physics. One shot." On the observation deck, Thren's translator crackled to life as Maya's voice filled the room. "High Assessor, we're ready to begin the demonstration. Activating your defensive systems now." The Infinite Probability shimmered as its 17-dimensional barriers came online. To human eyes, it looked like the ship was simultaneously existing in multiple places at once, its outline blurred and uncertain, probability given form. "Magnificent, isn't it?" Thren said to his companions. "The humans will fire their primitive weapons, watch them pass harmlessly through shifted dimensional space, and finally understand the vast gulf between our civilizations." Maya's voice came again, firing in 3, 2, 1. The Mark 7 railgun mounted on the Celestial Mandate's dorsal spine was a masterpiece of human engineering. Electromagnetic coils accelerating a depleted uranium rod to hypersonic velocity. No complex targeting AI, no quantum processors, just precisely calculated electromagnetic fields and one very fast, very dense projectile. The penetrator left the railgun at exactly 7,000 meters per second. It crossed the 1,000-kilometer gap in 142 seconds. The Valorian shield system detected the incoming object and immediately began its defensive calculations. Quantum processors spinning up to track the projectile across 17 dimensions, preparing to phase it through probability space where it would cease to be a threat. Except the projectile had no dimensional variance to track. It wasn't trying to exist in multiple states. It was just a lump of very dense metal moving very fast in exactly one direction. The shield system's processors ran through their calculations, attempting to find the complex patterns that would let them shift the threat into harmless probability. But there were no complex patterns, just mass and velocity. By the time the Valorian AI recognized its error and attempted a simple three-dimensional deflection, it was 0.003 seconds too late. The depleted uranium penetrator struck the infinite probability exactly amidships, punching through the hull with the same physics that had governed warfare since humanity first learned to throw stones. The ship didn't explode. That would have been too dramatic. It simply vented atmosphere through a perfectly circular hole, its sophisticated systems trying desperately to understand what had just happened. On the observation deck, Thren stood in absolute silence, his bioluminescence completely dark shock in Valorian body language. Maya's voice came over the comm, perfectly professional. Hull breach confirmed on the infinite probability. High Assessor, I'm dispatching rescue teams immediately. No casualties reported, but your vessel is disabled. William couldn't quite keep the satisfaction out of his voice as he reported from gunnery control. Single shot, single hit, Captain, right through their shields. Thren finally found his voice. Impossible, our calculations, the dimensional mathematics, you couldn't possibly. We didn't, Maya interrupted gently. We didn't use dimensional mathematics or quantum targeting or adaptive AI. We used Newton's laws of motion. Force equals mass times acceleration. An object in motion stays in motion. Your shields were so busy looking for sophisticated threats that they missed the simple one. The High Assessor's crystalline form seemed to dim slightly. You outsmarted our systems by being less advanced. We won by being different, Maya corrected. You assumed inferior technology meant inferior tactics, but sometimes the old ways work precisely because everyone's forgotten to defend against them. Rodriguez appeared on the view screen, his repair teams already suiting up. We'll have your ship patched and pressurized within the hour, High Assessor, and we'd be happy to share our shielding data. It's much simpler than yours, but it stops kinetic projectiles quite effectively. William added from his station, maybe we can learn from each other. You teach us dimensional mathematics, we teach you that sometimes a rock is still the best weapon. Thren was silent for a long moment, his bioluminescence flickering through colors Maya had never seen before. Then, slowly, a pattern emerged that their translator registered as thoughtful laughter. I came here to assess humanity's worthiness for the Galactic Cooperative, the alien said. I expected to find primitives playing with fire. Instead, I found a species clever enough to turn their limitations into advantages. His crystalline form seemed to solidify to focus. Commander Maya, Lieutenant Chen, I believe I will be recommending immediate membership. The cooperative needs fresh perspectives, and humanity certainly provides that. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Does this mean you'll stop calling our technology primitive? Oh, it is primitive, Thren replied, but now there was respect in his tone. Beautifully, elegantly, dangerously primitive, and we would be fools to underestimate it again. As the rescue teams launched toward the damaged Valorian ship, William leaned back in his gunnery station, grinning. Captain, permission to speak freely. Granted, Lieutenant. That was the most satisfying shot I've ever fired. Maya laughed, a rare sound on her bridge. Noted for the record, Mr. Chen. Now let's help our new friends patch their hull. Something tells me they're going to have quite the story to tell the Cooperative Council. Through the observation window, Earth continued its slow rotation, a planet of primitive technology and ancient physics that had just proven, once again, that in warfare, as in life, simplicity could be the ultimate sophistication. The Valorians had mocked humanity's inferior technology. They would not make that mistake again.